Hello and welcome back to N2 the Chatterverse, where two gents share their 2 cents on pop media. I am Victor Danders, the hardest working man in comics.
And I'm Bill, and rip Jason Momoa's beard.
Oh man, I saw that.
Yeah.
I don't want to speak ill of a man without face hair, but man, he does not look like Jason Momoa without face hair. Like,
Yeah, I mean that's what happens.
Woo! Wow. Is there any other actor that you can think of that, if they shave, totally changes like their entire appearance? Like, if would Jack Black look I mean, obviously he started off his career very clean shaven.
Yeah.
But now,
Well, I think having watched Happy Gilmore 2,
okay,
Adam Sandler,
he would be
I
really
think
weird.
Yeah. I think,
Okay.
Because I think it would show more of his face.
Okay.
And why he grew a beard.
Okay. All right. So how was that? I didn't watch that one yet.
It's pretty much what you would expect.
Okay. All right. So because we have had this, kind of resurgence of franchises that started in the 90s, Happy Gilmore being one, I have to admit that I did go to see I Know What You Did Last Summer, and it was way better than I thought it was going to be. Like, absolutely much, much better. And I have to offer an apology from 2 episodes ago where we were like, nah, I'm not going to go see that movie. It was actually a really fun movie. Good characters, good acting. And I kind of want to see what the price points of Happy Gilmore 2 were. But in terms of budget, on only an $18 million budget, as we just saw, it's made, what, $45 million worldwide?
Just about, yeah.
That's not bad. And
No, that's actually really good.
I think we need way more movies like that.
Well, that's the old Disney model.
So, okay, with that, what is it that really made us get away from it? Is it the MCU? Like, truly?
I think it's franchises in general.
Okay. All right. Like, overall,
Yeah.
all franchises
Yeah.
is kind of okay. All right. Because I was just curious, like, over the weekend, I did get a copy of MCU: The Reign of Marvel Studios, and I started reading it, and I'm quite a few chapters in, and it's so very interesting to see how everything kind of lined up. And they do talk about how what was the irony? When they first started, the movie that they expected to make decent money was Incredible Hulk, because as they understood it, sequels tend to make at least what the last one did, right?
Yeah.
And so because they were technically rebooting and it's not a sequel, but they didn't really necessarily say that it wasn't a sequel. They were counting on it doing sequel-like numbers, and it did, but that meant that Incredible Hulk was actually supposed to be the more successful one between it and Iron Man in their mind, like when they were initially doing it, because Iron Man was the, unknown quantity.
Yeah. I mean, then, that's fair to think that way.
Right? So it's interesting to see, like, how, for that one, what they were looking for was 200 million, 250 million or so worldwide, because that's what the first one, the Ang Lee one, made. And so that's why I was kind of wondering, like, is that part of that thing where they're looking at 200 million, 250 million as a barometer for success? Or could we go back to a time where a $50 million worldwide release, because the budget was so much smaller, we can see more of those?
You hope that happens, but it doesn't happen.
That's fair.
Well,
So,
because most of the time that an $18 million movie is like a new IP.
true.
It's not often that you reboot something and it costs that little.
Right.
I mean, even if it cost $50 million, I wouldn't have been surprised by that at all. I just think that they're looking for more bang for the buck, because it looks better when a movie has grossed, $1 billion. Though
Sure.
I saw that that 800 million is the new $1 billion, which is the way it should have been in the first place.
Well,
it's just that when you have movies hit $1 billion,
right,
it's hard not to compare
aim for
it to
that. Okay. So what is the budget for Happy Gilmore 2? What do you think?
I wouldn't know.
Does it?
It's
it's a
Netflix.
Netflix. So they don't
Yeah.
say, do they?
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So to go back, can we look up the budget for Unbreakable? I'm curious how much that was, because if superhero genres are thriving right now, but if we can go back to a quote unquote lower budget version of it, is that something that would be helpful? And I can't imagine Unbreakable cost a lot to make.
Yeah, but no one knew that was a.
That's what I'm saying. Like
superhero movie.
Like you said, new.
That's not even the right one.
Oh,
I'm like, where is it?
the top one.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah,
that was just a different.
Yeah, it's a much different picture.
Yeah,
75 million.
Yeah,
that is quite a bit bigger than I thought it was.
Yeah, but it made almost 250.
I mean, it definitely did. It definitely did. But it was still bigger than I thought.
Yeah, that's a lot more than I would have expected as
right.
well.
I mean, maybe for Sam and Bruce and Robin Wright. So I'll give it that in terms of actors. That's got to be at least 20 million between the three of them.
Yeah.
So I'll give it that. But yeah, no, I think if we can find properties like this that, you know, can have a superhero lean to it, maybe not necessarily super post-production heavy like that one really wasn't, and we can have these cool superhero tent poles but not necessarily cost as much and therefore don't need to make as much, I think we could see more returns to the theaters, which would be nice.
So you're saying let's make the Samaritan?
Absolutely. Been saying it. Holler at me. The rights are up. Okay, so as we're in this superhero frame of mind, we both saw Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
We saw it separately.
Yep.
My theater was decently packed. What about yours? Was it just you?
There were a few people.
Okay.
There, yeah.
All right. That was just to kind of contextualize what sort of vibe the room had.
Yeah.
I didn't get any cheers or anything like that from anybody. There was no big moments that everyone was like, yay! That didn't happen. So I was curious if you had that at all.
Not that I remember.
All right. All right. So overall, what would you rate it out of 10?
A 7.
7. All right. Not bad. Mine is lower. Mine is a 6.
Okay.
6 out of 10.
Well, but it's yours. Okay. What was yours for Superman?
Mine was a 7 for Superman.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we're on the same mind of this. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's just not as good as Superman.
It's not as good.
And that's okay. Yeah. So we're right in line in that.
Okay. All right. I like that. What was your favorite pieces and parts, if you want to get into that? Spoiler warning in case we go there.
It's gonna be the end.
Okay.
It's gonna be the whole homage to Jack Kirby.
Yeah.
The overdue homage to Jack Kirby.
Well, long overdue.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I like the tone of the movie.
Yes.
Yes. And I've heard from a few people that they like the fact that you didn't need to watch anything else. It's you can jump on at this point. Right. I think though as much as I like the tone of the movie, I didn't like the kumbaya of everything.
Okay.
Because it didn't seem like the Thing was the Thing.
Right. No one was scared of him. There was no this man, this monster.
Right. So at this point, why is he called the Thing?
Right. At this point, he's just Ben.
Yeah.
Like that's just what he is. Okay. This is so strange to say. I like the tone as well, right? Mm-hmm. But obviously, you had this retro 60s vibe.
Yeah.
And like you said, the kumbaya feels of it all. Mm-hmm. So is this a world where there was no civil rights movement?
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's totally, because I was like,
well, you know what? I would say that based on the faces that I saw in the crowd,
right,
that wasn't a problem,
right? Which I think is interesting.
Yes.
I don't want to downplay the potential of that, but if that's where you are in this version of the universe, I think you got to say something else about it, because that is so very different from our actual world. Now, I don't know if that was something that was cut, if that was ever something that they ever wanted to address, but man, it stuck out to me because I was like, there's a lot of different people all standing around.
This is definitely not the 60s that I know. Which I think was a lot was that was the point of it.
Okay.
Though,
okay.
That it's not the 60s that especially when she's taking a pregnancy test.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not at all.
No.
So yeah, I like the vibe, but it did make me like curious. Like, excuse me. What's something that you didn't like?
You know what? I've gotten criticism for this.
Yeah.
I wasn't a huge fan of the way Galactus looked. I thought he looked too cartoony.
Interesting.
But I also understand that in order to make him look like more realistic, I'll say, it would have cost a lot more money.
I can imagine that. I can absolutely imagine
I can let that go.
Yeah.
And then there was my favorite moment when Dead Sue kissed back to Reed, which I'm like, you're dead.
You're dead.
No, it shouldn't be moving.
It was a late impulse reflex. It was,
or maybe Pedro Pascal is that good of a kisser.
He's that good of a kisser.
That brings people, even dead people want to kiss him.
Partially back from the dead.
Yeah.
I have to admit, like, as much as I was enjoying the big climax at the end, there are aspects of power use that I was like, no, I can't get behind this one. And it's Sue holding Galactus back or pushing him in any sort of way. I could not get behind that from Sue's power structure alone. And it's like simple math how I got there, right?
Mm-hmm.
She puts a bubble around her and the family, and the surfer can fly through it. And that's a callback to the Rise of the Silver Surfer, and maybe even in the books too. I don't remember that far back. But if the surfer can get through her shields, so can Galactus. Because everything the surfer can do came from Galactus.
Yep.
There should be no way possible where that is affecting him without help. And by help, I think the obvious answer should have been like, even if it's something that Reed doesn't recognize right away, is, so you can't do this, you can't do this. And she's like, it's working though. And the idea is that she is receiving help from a fifth external source. And once everything happens and,
Right.
as the movie keeps going, yes, that would make perfect sense to me. But on its own, I was like, no, like it took me out so hard.
Well, so to that point,
Mm-hmm.
let's say that fifth element was there.
Okay.
You would know, because the way the fifth element worked,
Right.
you never saw any powers whatsoever.
Never. But I would expect her to say it, like her to know something is different. Like this is, because Reed is telling her like, you're hitting your limits. This, you can't do this.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, this feels different. Something feels different. I can do this. I got it. Give me something that shows like there is something happening that they are, at least she is innately aware of. Now I will say that I did appreciate somewhat of the girl power, action of it, where Sue was definitely a big hand in it, and then Shalabal was also a big hand in the end result. That was very sweet, but still puts me back into that same position as Rise of the Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer cannot go up against Galactus. Like that is not, that's not a power set for them. Like, whether it's the male one, whether it's the female one, that's where their power comes from.
Mm-hmm.
They don't go against Galactus like that. Like they can disobey. They have disobeyed, but to physically try to fight Galactus is ridiculous. Like they would never do that, because he goes, and you're done. And now you're no longer Silver Surfer. You are dead in the water. There is nothing for you to do against him when that's where your power comes from.
Well, it also could be in the moment. So is he thinking on his toes in the moment? Probably not, because he's not used to the pushback. Yeah.
Which, again, more of a characterization sort of thing that
Yeah.
I would have wanted to see. But he does have a moment where he does attack her, where she's like, Master, no, and he, kind of force chokes her out a little bit. Clearly, I would be in that moment, nope, you're done. Like, you sit down, you get no board no more.
Mm-hmm.
You're absolutely done. Overall, story-wise, were you good with the way that flowed?
I think for the most part, I
Mhm.
just, like I said, it was good.
Yeah.
I think I would have liked a little bit more of something. I just
Mhm.
couldn't put my finger on what that something was. Maybe a little more conflict.
Okay.
But it was just nice to sit through a movie and just not like get upset about it.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I didn't rage anything in there. Like, there was just things where I was like, no, I don't really.
Yeah, it's okay
enjoy
to
that.
pick apart stuff.
Right.
But it's not like the last one that they made with the Miles Teller version.
Right.
Where everything looked great and then they got their powers in and just
Falls apart.
it just completely became a different movie.
And not in a good way.
No.
Not at all in a good way. Okay, so here's one that I want to give to you and the audience. I want to hear back from them. Do you think that things would have changed if they were given the Fantastic Four were given the full totality of the calculus of what Galactus was asking for. Because he says it to the Silver Surfer, he doesn't actually say it to them. They have this idea that it's Franklin for Earth. That's the trade. And Sue makes that very impassioned speech, which was wonderful. It was great. I would never give my child up for you, but I'm not going to give you guys up either. The issue, though, is that's not what he told Silver Surfer. He said, that baby may quell my hunger completely. That's not just Earth. That is every other planet that he could eat. We're talking a bajillion, people at hand there. Does that change the calculus?
I have a different view on that.
Okay.
Because to me, it seemed more like Franklin would have taken his place.
He said both. So, yeah, he absolutely says both. First is that he is going to take my place, and then he goes, he could quell my hunger.
Yeah, he could quell his hunger by killing him.
Well, he was going to eat Franklin, yes.
Well, no.
That's what you got out of that?
Yeah, by Galactus. Okay, have you finished watching The Sandman?
No.
Okay, then never mind.
The second season?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen. I haven't seen that one at all. Dang it. Okay.
He could just be tired of being Galactus.
Fair. So you think by Franklin becoming Galactus, he gets to stop and he's like, and I'm done. Like, I get to rest. I'm tired.
Right.
I quit.
Yep.
That makes it even more selfless of sorts of what he's asking for.
Yeah, but he's not.
But he's not asking correctly.
But he's not changing the aspect of there being a Galactus and needing to eat constantly.
Right. So
now that may change the worlds they go at.
Right.
But because obviously he's not going after every world because he's just passing every world to get.
He totally does. Like, he's picking and choosing.
Yeah.
Now in the comics, there are things that lead into that. Like, in the comics, Franklin does, or there's a version where Franklin does become Galactus. There's a version where Galactus becomes his herald, which is crazy. There's a lot of different things where Franklin's power level does get explored in reference to Galactus very well. I don't know if that's exactly where they're going with this.
Yeah.
But like, I took the ambiguity of what he was actually saying to be not off-putting, but I think like it would have changed things from Reed's perspective. If Reed was literally like, I'm actually considering it, and of course, obviously, Sue got mad at him, but if he's like, he doesn't just mean Earth, like it's so much bigger than that. We have to think about this. Like, it's not that I don't care about Franklin. It is literally, at some point, we've got to deal with this. Like, this is that big of a thing. Especially if Reed comes to the conclusion that Galactus is a cosmic constant, that there always has to be one. And if there has to be one, wouldn't it be better to have one that we have some influence over? That's a better conversation that I think husband and wife in that regard should have had. And I was disappointed that we didn't get to see that, because that becomes a very analytical mind who's not wrong and a very impassioned heart who's also not wrong. And that would have been the thing that I wanted to see.
Well, I think you're walking right into it's. Franklin goes from being a baby to being Galactus.
Right.
Immediately.
Yes. That doesn't mean
he grows up.
Also true. Like, and what does he eat then? Like, is it
eats whatever's in front of his face.
Would he suddenly not eat Earth, or you think he might?
No, I think he would. I definitely think he would. I don't think he would think twice about it.
That's fair. I think that would be quite funny if that's the case. It did bug me. I will say this at the end, one of the after credit scenes where one of the books that he's reading is from Darwin, and I feel like that suggests that they are not going to bring in Valeria, which is their daughter, who is actually smarter than her dad. And Valeria figures out things like at a very young age. She's like 3 and is figuring out big level thinking things and doesn't tell anybody how smart she is. I feel like the showcase of Franklin having like that book means that they're not bringing in Valeria.
I would think that they would be happy with one and done.
Fair.
Because they were trying for 2 years.
2 years.
And they should, and the end result was, oh wait, someone wants to eat our baby.
let's not have any more. Let's not do it again.
Bastard.
Let's not do it again. Music wise, excellent. I have been listening to the soundtrack since. And you would think like I'd be over the Fantastic Four theme song when we went through the the activation in San Diego. I was playing it on loop, but I still love it.
You know what? I tuned it out.
Did you?
After a while.
Okay.
But it's also one of those things that's it's not annoying.
Right.
So, yeah, I liked it. I wouldn't. I don't know if I'd go out and buy it.
Right.
Is it Silvestri?
No, it's Michael.
Oh, it's Giacchino?
Yep.
Okay. I couldn't remember who it was.
Yep.
I've always, pretty much enjoyed the soundtracks for the
absolutely
Marvel movies.
I am wanting to do a song for song comparison between it and Incredibles because he did both, and just to kind of see like, did he tap into any of that at all for Fantastic Four? And so far, I don't think that he did, but just kind of like, did he do it? I think maybe in the names, there are a lot of punny names for the Fantastic Four soundtrack songs, and I think there are for the Incredibles as well. But yeah, I really did enjoy it. Okay, so here's a couple of things that were, we'll say, rumor things that were not true in this movie. They don't establish that they came from a different Earth in this one. That it all seems like all of this happened on 8/28. So that the event or the Fantastic Four that we see in the actual MCU is from a different Earth. What did you think about that? Did you catch that? That
what?
All of it happened on that Earth and not like this happened, or that they were from our Earth, and then transported themselves to a
I'd
new
never
Earth.
even heard that.
Really?
I always thought it was a different Earth regardless.
No. That where they were is a different Earth, but I remember hearing rumors that they started out in the MCU Earth, and this was part of their transition.
Never heard that.
All right, so you weren't looking for that at all.
No.
Got you. I totally was for that reason. And I was like, when they were doing the trans warp stuff, I'm like, oh, this is why. Like this, and it never came up again.
I think I heard speculation that when they like when the first poster came out and it looked like a retro, and they're like, it's going to take place in the 60s in the
Right.
MCU, and I immediately heard that wasn't true at all.
Right. No, not our 60s, but a different Earth 60s. There were a few things that were cut out from the trailers that I was just listening to New Rockstars, and they were kind of going over some of the things that were featured in the trailers that weren't in the actual movie at all. Some of the talk show footage wasn't in there. The line from Reed where he's like, I stretched the boundaries of reality, and they heard, that's not in there. Why do you think that like they were showing so much in the trailer that wasn't actually in the film? Was it just good footage?
Because the people that put together trailers don't put together the movie.
That's okay. So with that, is there a huge risk of telling a different story via the trailer? Is that even?
I think, and the idea of a trailer is just to get you interested in the movie.
Okay.
I think where it becomes a problem is if they. Was it yesterday? Ana de Armas was in the trailer, but she's not in the movie at all.
Oh.
And there were people that went to see the movie
to see her. Oh,
and
yeah, that's
there was
bad.
there was a lawsuit, and I think it got thrown out.
Okay.
Though I agree that stuff like that should not happen.
Yeah. No.
Scenes not being in there, but
Yeah.
if you're going specifically to see an actor,
Right,
and they're in the trailer but they're not in the movie, if John Malkovich was in the trailer and I went specifically to see it in the movie, and all I saw was a gorilla,
right,
I think I'd be really upset.
Got you. No, I can see that. I can totally see that. Yeah, because that's, I don't want to call it false advertising, but for lack of a better word, like that's, you're saying, oh yeah, this person's gonna be in it, and they're not. But who do you fault that for? Because obviously, like you said, if the trailer is cut by different persons than do the movie, then that could happen. But you would hope that it wouldn't happen for any specific character.
Well, you don't fault the people putting together the trailer because their job is to put together a trailer.
They work with what they've got.
Yeah, and
Gotcha.
Maybe the director, once he sees the trailer, says, "Wait, you can't put that on it because I'm taking this person out."
Right.
Which would be what, like 2 seconds of a trailer? That could be edited out.
Right.
So maybe put it on the editor, but also it could be one of those things where the trailer comes out 6 months before.
Right.
The movie tends to not be locked down till like 3 months, 2 months before it's released.
So those things could
change.
So
things could change. I also don't understand why they couldn't have put John Malkovich in, 2-second scene.
Right. I mean, they
mention him.
They clearly showcase
the
apes and in that one little bit. I guess
they even said Red Ghost, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
they do at the end, like with the animated piece, they do for sure.
I thought that when they were talking about all the villains,
other villains that they faced,
they said Red Ghost.
They said. Yes, they did, because they said Puppet Master, Red Ghost, and Diablo.
Yeah.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Which was cool. I thought that was a great little, hey, this is bigger than just this moment sort of setup, which was very nice. Okay, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna put my writer hat on, and I'm gonna tell you what I had hoped was gonna be the framework of this movie, even though it's a hope against hope, right? My hope was that when we started off and what we think is Galactus eating a planet, it is him trying to eat a planet getting interrupted. And the thing that is interrupting him is Doom. Now, we don't necessarily see that it's Doom per se, but that's what is happening. And what they are going for when he realizes in the cosmos that Franklin exists is he wants Franklin to be a constant power source for him so that he can fight Doom. Doom is doing something where he is jumping from planet to planet, grabbing power, and he's now got enough that he can stop Galactus from eating. He can't quite beat him yet, but he stopped him from eating, which would recharge Galactus to his full power, and that's a problem. And so he needs something that will charge him up, ideally indefinitely, so that he can stop Doom. And that's how Doom comes into play as the bigger picture for the Fantastic Four, and would also give me credence for why any of the Fantastic Four could do anything to Galactus. He hasn't eaten, and he's like depowered in a big way where he's actually like they can actually do something against him.
And how long did you want this movie to be?
I think you could do it in the same runtime, because if you set it up where this is how it starts, right? Where Galactus is supposed to be eating, and Doom interrupts it, and he sends the Surfer. There's something here. Find it now. And Surfer takes off, and maybe Galactus and Doom are still fighting or whatever. Surfer comes to Earth, has that moment. Hey, are you the heroes? This is what we want. Give it to me. And they're like, no. And they go out there, and maybe they find Galactus, and he's battle weary, whatever, and he's like, listen, I want it, give it to me, this is what we're doing. And then the movie continues as is. Same thing. It's just a different opening for showcasing what Galactus is.
Okay.
Is that too hard? Does that double the budget?
It's too much. I think it's just too much. I think that it definitely raises the budget by a lot.
I mean, we already saw Planet Get Destroyed. We had conversations with him. What's
You're showing even more of Galactus, which is going to raise the budget.
I mean, even if we did it in the shadows, I did like how they did that, where he would be in the shadows and his eyes would glow. I did like that a lot, actually.
And I will say this version of Galactus is much better than the Cloud.
Every version of Galactus is better than the Cloud.
I don't know. There are times when the kiss method comes in, and I'm okay with that.
Keep it simple. I got you. That's fair. I think for me, it's wanting to establish the threat of Doom because we have so few things leading up to him.
I think it would have made a great sequel. I think if they had already established the Fantastic Four, because they obviously weren't going to do an origin story. We all know the origin,
which they kind of did, which was weird.
Which I'm okay with the way it's like Batman versus Superman. We get the origin of Batman in the opening credits without having to have everything, shoved down our throats.
Right. Here's the narrative.
Yeah.
We know the narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got that, and that's fine. I like that's clean. I just think that you need to establish the characters as being different than the ones that have already been there. You need to focus more on them than you do the villains.
Did you think that there was a misstep by not having any reference to already established characters? So, not saying that there should be an Iron Man or anything like that, but should there have been a Howard Stark? Should there have been a Steve Rogers? How interesting would that have been where in this world, because like we said, everything is different. Steve Rogers is an old man. He is at least 20 years, older than what we've seen him as, because he didn't get, frozen in the ice, and he finished out World War II, became a mailman. I don't know. But would that have been interesting to kind of paint a connected picture under any circumstance? Obviously they said that they don't want you to do homework, but would that have been like oh, that's nice?
I would have a hard time doing Steve Rogers.
Okay.
Basically because you need the super soldier serum for him to be relevant.
Okay. Because
otherwise he's just, 98 pound.
I mean, what if that's how they did it?
Yeah, but what would be because he would never have gone in the army.
Right. But what if he was like, okay, so this is such a strange pullback. They did have Stanley play, I can't think of his name. The mailman has a name.
Willie something.
Yes.
Yeah.
If that's what his character was. It's not Willie, but it's Steve. And Steve Rogers.
You mean just showed up as a cameo?
Yeah.
Thing. Not necessarily that Steve Rogers was anything in. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be fine, but also I wouldn't see Steve Rogers even as a scrawny kid.
It's fair.
Because, he could do this all day.
Good job.
I mean, I wouldn't, I'm not going to say Peter Parker being a photographer.
Right. I think that would have been fun.
Yeah. I don't think they would have been able to do it based on the rights, but something to that effect.
Gotcha.
Yeah. They could have done Matt Murdock as a lawyer.
Something.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, even if it still took the same time structure. So we'll say so Howard Stark is around in the 60s,
right? Based
on the MCU versus what we've got. Yep. But Bill Foster or
Howard Stark being in there would totally have made sense.
Yeah,
to me.
Yeah.
But going back to the rights thing, did you see what studio made this movie?
Other than Marvel Studios? No.
Yep. There's another one. Think about it.
What am I missing? I'm thinking of the opening credits.
It was at the end.
It was at the end?
It was the end.
Oh, then I definitely don't remember. What was it?
20th Century Studios.
Does that mean that they still actually have the rights to the Fantastic Four and it didn't?
Probably because they it's under that umbrella.
Oh, that's interesting. So maybe they couldn't actually make those references.
No, I think they can because they own the characters. I just think that from a legal standpoint, it had to be under the umbrella.
Interesting.
Or it could have been to move money around,
right?
To make it look like it's profitable,
like it's this, okay,
type thing. But I thought that was interesting when I saw that.
Oh, I didn't even catch that. Yeah. I got to see it again. That's interesting. So if 20th Century Studios is still a factor, is that what we're going to see the X-Men come through with?
I don't know. You know what? I have to go back to look at Daredevil versus Wolverine.
Deadpool. Yeah. Although I would watch a Daredevil versus. Yeah. But that's a good point. I would have. Yeah. Now we got to watch that. Well, at least the end.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We will tweet that out. If you guys know already, definitely comment below which studio is listed. If Fox is there, we totally want to know, because I do think that that's a very interesting dynamic. If the Fox purchase still requires in any way, shape, or form acknowledgement of Fox Studios, I think that's a very interesting move and could somewhat explain why moving forward the Fantastic Four could be cameos in MCU, like Marvel Studios movies, but not necessarily released under Marvel Studios yet.
Right.
I think that's a very interesting move where they still have to be acknowledged because they still exist. And obviously, I mean, I would hope that Disney knew that when they bought it, that they had to retain Fox Studios as a entity of whatever sort. That's an interesting one. I wonder what other studio like setups have any sort of like, I don't know, rules like that, like Miramax, like being a part of Disney but not a part of Disney. Did that have special rules where it didn't necessarily acknowledge Disney at the end of their movies?
I mean, how many times was New Line Cinema and Warner Brothers on at the same time also?
Not very often.
I think it may just come down to accounting.
Okay.
And, this studio has so much money.
Right.
This studio has so much money. Though it's the same pool.
Right.
Overall pool, but it's the way it's broken up. That's something that it caught my eye.
That's interesting.
And I probably should have looked into it more, but I didn't think about it until we just
that's a good one. That's definitely something to talk about. I wonder if there are movie industry people, producers that we could possibly get in touch with, interview even in short snippets and be like, hey, this is their statement, blah, blah, blah. I think that would be kind of fun to do.
And actually, I'd like to look back at the recent Daredevils to see if Netflix is in there.
That's a good one. Okay.
Though I kind of
doubt it too.
Because they didn't have the rights to the characters.
Right.
They were just making the shows.
Right.
But
still would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's our homework. We will find that out. No, that was pretty good. Overall, I definitely think that people should see Fantastic Four, at the very least, to wash out the stank of the 2015 version. I did realize after seeing somebody post about it that it has been every 10 years.
Yeah.
There's a new one. And I'm like, oh,
yep,
that's fun. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Is that fun?
It's
interesting. I don't know if it's fun.
I'll say fun because I didn't have to pay for the difference. But yeah, definitely like, oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I was also a little sad that the rumored Council of Reeds was not a thing. That was a thing that people thought that he was going to open up a portal to ask other Reeds what to do, considering what this was. And
isn't that something for Secret Wars?
No. In Secret Wars, he's already addressed the Council of Reeds. Okay, at least from the most recent comic version of Secret Wars, he already has had encounters with the Council of Reeds and has already decided that he wasn't going to join them because what they did was gave up their family, and he refuses to do that.
So yeah, that's where it's
you think that's where it's gonna happen?
Well, yeah, that makes more sense.
Okay, all right. So then he's like, "What do I do?" And they're like, "Don't do it." Or no, they're like, "No, give him up."
I mean, it's supposed to be even is Doomsday supposed to be a multiverse also?
It's got to be.
Yeah, so it probably could be in that as well.
Okay, I can see that. That would have been interesting too, actually, if the Council of Reeds have been tracking Doom down. But we'll see how that goes. I am curious what you guys are thinking of Fantastic Four. If you saw it, how do you rate this particular version out of all of the other Fantastic Four movies? We'll include the 1990s one, because why not? Did you see that cameo where the Human Torch and the Thing from the 94 Fantastic Four were in it? They were construction workers.
Oh, I totally missed that.
Super cute. And they're just kind of looking up like, oh no, what's that? It was very nice. But yeah, definitely want to hear your thoughts on this movie. Rank them. We want to hear what you think. And thank you guys for tuning into the Chatterverse. I am Victor Dandridge, the hardest working man in comics.
I'm Bill, and yes, that is my hat over my shoulder.
Yeah.